pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ellen.
See ya.
All right, next thing on the agenda is public input. Anybody here for public input?
Yes.
If you wish to speak,
There's a mic right there.
And just give us your name and address.
Dennis Schiffler, 1082 Sunwood Park Lane, Wade Park. Here out of curiosity. Putting stakes up with pink flags on 10th Avenue South over here in the right of way. Just curious what that's all about. Years ago, they were planning on putting an extension on 10th Avenue. We're hoping that won't happen. Where? 10th Avenue, it's in the woods all throughout the,
Down by the park, that
yeah,
area?
it's in the right of way area.
Okay. I know
nothing
nothing.
else?
No, it's,
We'll
no,
look into
we,
that and get back to you,
yeah,
Denny.
we can find
Yeah,
out.
Somebody might be doing some digging or something and they're just spotting.
Yeah, but it's the length of 10th Avenue all the way down through the houses and,
So is it anything with the broadband that's going in? Like some of the cable? I don't
I don't
know.
know.
There's nothing there's no roadways being
Utility-
planned.
No.
There's no utilities being planned.
all right,
From the city's perspective, at least water and sewer. If there's another utility, it would not be us.
We'll check into it, Denny, and I'll get back to
I
you.
don't know
all right.
if that's another part of the
Thank you.
T-Mobile project.
Anybody else here for public input? Public input? Okay, then we'll move on. Review and approve the council agenda.
I'll move to approve.
Second?
Okay,
just
we
gonna
have
say as
motion to
amended.
approve in a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, pass unanimous. All right, then we will work on the consent agenda items. And we have item A, approve the 4/6/26 council meeting minutes. B, approve obtaining appraisals for 10th Avenue project. C, approve resolution governing write-in votes. D, approve additional dog license. E, approve a resolution awarding Sundial Drive bid. F, approve hiring temporary public works workers. G, approve appointing 3 paid on-call firefighters to the fire department. H, approve resolution correcting the previous resolution number 111725-03. And I, approve an agreement with SEH for the 10th Avenue Enhanced Crosswalk Project.
I move approval.
Second?
We have a motion to approve the, in a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, then we'll move on to the regular agenda. And item A is the new phone system.
Mr. Mayor, council members, I'm here to discuss the new phone system. Any questions you might have? Our contract with Zoom was up, so we looked at multiple phone systems. We decided to move ahead with the Arvig phone system. The city already has Arvig for internet, and they're also willing to bring the lines into City Hall for the phone system at no charge because the city's already an existing customer. We are going to purchase the phones outright instead of leasing them. That cost is $13,555. With the savings I'm going to grab my phone here because I wrote it all down. We have a savings from the current Zoom contract to Arvig. We'll be saving $644 a month. So there's a 21-month ROI to pay for the phones. And then after that, the city is saving $644 a month. So that's the savings there that we have on that. If there's any other questions I can entertain on the phone system, happy to do so.
The phones are new, right? We're not buying the existing ones.
No, these will be brand new phones. The current ones were leased through Zoom, so we have to return those to them. But
Okay.
we're buying these instead of leasing them. Timeframe, the contract for Zoom is up June 30th. So we'll have to have the new phone system in place. Part of the phones will be installed at Public Works for all the employees to use. And then once we move it back into City Hall, the phones just pick up and move, and I plug them into the network over there, and away we go. So,
Any other questions?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion to approve the new phone system and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passed unanimously.
thank you.
All right. Item B, approve the appointment of 2 volunteer police reserve officers.
Mr. Mayor and council, we currently have 8 police reserves. They are volunteers. We're trying to keep that number around 12. They provide that additional support with traffic control for the Ledge events, each of the concerts, and then they also assist with other community-sponsored events, whether it's the senior cookout, the parade, all those other community-focused events. We did take applications. They were vetted through, and then interviews were conducted. The 2 before you tonight have passed a limited background check. It's sufficient to get them the CJIS access that they require, but it's not a full-blown background like we do with officers. Again, they're a voluntary position. The only impact of the budget is base level uniforms, just to kind of get them to look the part. So the 2 before you have good backgrounds and have actually very close ties with our department. And staff recommends the.
I'll move to approve.
2 motions on this?
Why?
You can do them as, you can do the
we
both
do
of them
them all?
together.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
so just want to add to that, Frank, just so I can include the names. The Police Reserve Officer Jessica Coop, and then Martin Rugemer. Are you all right with including that in your motion?
Yeah, I got a clerical thing after maybe
Okay.
in the meeting, so, but
Okay.
yes, that's fine.
All right. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. So we have a motion and second. Any other discussion?
Aye.
Okay.
You up every meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll move on. All right, the next item is consider the MOU modifying employee work schedules for summertime.
So as we have done in the past, and I think it's maybe on year 3 or 4, 4th year, we have, at the request of some of our staff, have entertained doing summer hours. And so in Public Works is the one that probably does it fully, meaning that they work 4 10s, and then they have one person on Fridays that is doing, that's on call. So if you're on the on-call rotation, you work the 5 days a week for the 8 hours. If you are not on that rotation, you are on 4 10s and you are off on Fridays. For the other 2 departments that this works out for in admin, we give it the option. And admin is one that council doesn't need to take action on because they're not unionized. So it's only it's at my authority that they can do that because I get to control the schedule of that. And then in police admin, they also have the option of that. And I know that as department heads, we've talked about it. We still see the benefit outweighs some of the challenges that maybe come along with that. But overall, it's worked out fairly well. The employees certainly enjoy having that. It goes into effect on Memorial Day, and then it is done on Labor Day. For anybody that is working the 4 10s like that, they do, if for like the holidays, they do have to take 2 hours of comp time or vacation time because they only get 8 hours for that. And that is made very clear. So what you have before you this evening then would be really 2 motions that would need to be made because they're MOUs that need to be done with the LELS, police admin unit, and then the other one is the Public Works Teamsters Union. So I'm happy to answer any questions about that. Again, I think it works fairly well for at least with police admin and for my admin staff. not everybody has to do it. We still are open Monday through Friday, but some do come in earlier and then leave, and then they're off on a certain day. It doesn't mean that. And so from my staff, I've said, if you guys want to do it, then you need to figure out the schedule. And you need to make sure that we have at least 2 people here to cover. And so they do, it kind of puts the onus on them. And I think Tony has done the same thing with his staff. And even in Public Works, they kind of came up with that as well. So they've all done a really good job of presenting it. And I like to be able to offer employees things like this if we have the opportunity where it doesn't really cost us any money.
Did you get any complaints from that last year? Some of you.
Complaints from whom? The public?
No, I was wondering if if the public had any complaints about.
Because we're still open Monday through Friday. And even with a Public Works, yeah, it really doesn't affect that. The one nice thing in Public Works is you get, they're doing all sorts of projects that mostly outside, so they have, 10 hours in a day to do that versus their normal 8 hours. Sometimes that works out really well. But it's important because we're small enough that they all collectively do it, because otherwise if you try to do the shift like what we do in the office setting, it makes it much more challenging because then you have less people that you can do projects with, whether you're doing, patching or park projects or whatever it might be.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Otherwise,
I'll move to approve the MOU for the police administration.
Second?
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We need a second.
I will move to approve the MOU for our Public Works Department,
Second?
Teamsters, I guess.
All right. So we have motion and second to approve Public Works. Or any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Thank you.
All right, item D, consider the moratorium on the uses associated with data centers.
Mayor, council members, bringing this back around after our previous work session discussion and looking to pursue this interim ordinance or moratorium. Again, in reviewing existing city ordinances in consideration of any potential future data center proposals, they are becoming more frequent in Minnesota, and other communities are being pursued for them. So certainly they're a possibility that we may face at some point. We have not yet. No formal reviews or requests. So this is my request to try and get ahead of that and put a pause for us to really take a hard look and define what degree of comfort there would be any future consideration of a data center proposal, and what, if any, limitations that we may want to place on them. Right now, our current ordinance is not, the language is not very well suited for a particular data center use. I think we found that same instance some years ago when we started seeing the sudden influx of solar projects, standalone solar projects, a use that was never really anticipated, and all of a sudden it started proliferating before we were able to get really a handle on it. So I would see the benefit in the city taking a pause to allow staff some opportunity to consider some options, have some engagement with you, and potentially brings forward some considerations for maybe some updates or perhaps a standalone ordinance, just to ensure we're positioning ourselves for the best possible scenario we can be in if we do choose to entertain data centers. I think it's worth acknowledging that just given the way we use computers now and AI, a lot of us do, I know, it's not a use that's going to be going away, but it's something that I think there can be some ways to mitigate, or some best practices that can perhaps be applied to ensure that we're being cognizant of residents and property owners and safeguarding the city and our natural resources against any negative impacts that could be strained if we don't do that carefully. I would note that we did carve an exemption into the proposed ordinance, something that came up just very recently, literally just in time for consideration here, for a very small scale, not a data center, but a small fiber optic facility. There's no water use associated with it, so it's not a data center, but the way it's treated, it would fall under the same language in the ordinance. So it was my recommendation to carve out that small exemption that could go forward if they choose to. Very strong possibility that use may opt to locate even within an existing building in kind of the more industrial area. It's a kind of a fiber optic switching shelter more than anything, no staff or anything. But as luck would have it, it came up the exact same time that considering this and haven't seen one in 10 years before. So was able to kind of incorporate it here. I would be recommending the duration of 12 months to allow staff time to engage city council, myself and water resource specialist and other staff that may be involved. We've already started looking at some potential options for review and ultimately considering any potential changes and eventually bring forward any recommendations to the Planning Commission, City Council, and through the associated public hearing processes. Again, I would note that we do have a history of utilizing moratoriums in recent years carefully. We don't do that lightly, but in both those instances, when we've done that previously in recent years, it's been in a reactionary mode. This is, I think, more proactive, and having learned a little bit from both those, I would like to get ahead of the curve here and be ready to consider any proposals that may come forward and make sure that we're doing what's best for us as a community while keeping in mind the current environment and need for some of these facilities in different areas. So my recommendation would be recommend approval of the attached interim ordinance or moratorium for a duration of 12 months and the approval of summary publication. And I would add that as with any of these interim ordinances, we do have the ability to lift it at any time if things move a little quicker than anticipated, that we would not leave it on any longer than necessary.
I'll move to approve the moratorium on data centers.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that is passed. Then we'll move on to approve the bills.
I'll move to pay the bills.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pay the bills. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
I do have another thing I forgot to mention, and that was just on an update on the ledge for the bonding request that we have put in. I heard last week from our lobbyist that, she's very optimistic that there's going to be a bonding bill, but, we still just have to play the little bit of the waiting game. We're getting closer to the time, and that our request was at the top of the priority list for our legislators. So that is, I think, as much of a promise as I can give you at this particular point. To know anything more than that, I can't predict that, but I was at least optimistic with that information that I was provided.
All right. Anybody else have anything they'd like to bring in? Otherwise, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed? All right, the meeting is ended at 6:48.
Why would it stop?